This might be a very unique problem. You know, sometimes when you're at the supermarket and you're looking at a product and you're thinking, I wish there was other flavors other than the original, you know? Like some products are really stubborn with sticking to one variation of it. So it got me thinking, what else could I add to Sprite that would be easy, quick, and create many different flavors out of this without changing textures, the fizziness, you know, the basic things. Multi-flavored cotton candy. So I thought if we add cotton candy to different drinks, you can have endless flavors in your house. This one is cherry, peach, pineapple, lime, blueberry, and grape. So I can have all those flavors in Sprite. If you're making cocktails, this would be amazing because you don't have to buy a million different mixers. Did we come up with something? Maybe. I just hope they dissolve. If it dissolves perfectly, this would be amazing. This one is cherry flavor. Wait, is this a lot? Like, is this gonna make it too sweet? If this works, we're about to make cherry... Not today, Satan. Not today. I'm about to make homemade cherry Sprite. Oh my god. Oh my god, this works! It's perfect. Oh, that looks like it would be so refreshing at 3 a.m. My 3 a.m. refreshments are about to get a whole lot different. And it changes the color. Oh, I came up with something that I didn't even know I could come up with. Oh my god. It's still a crisp Sprite because we just poured it, but it has an entirely different flavor. It's really delicious. It doesn't look too bad. There's a few pieces of cotton candy that haven't fully dissolved, but you can't even see it on camera. That's how little it is. Let me try it the other way around. Let's see what happens if we first pour the Sprite and then we get the cotton candy onto it. So this one is peach flavor. Peach Sprite sounds delicious. Like, why is Sprite not doing this? I'm going to crunch up my cotton candy. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's like making a cocktail in 3 seconds. Why is he giving vitamin C tablet? I can't even pick a favorite. That's my favorite, actually. They're both delicious. It's so much better than when Diet Coke comes up with new flavors. This is so superior. It works a lot better if you dissolve the cotton candy in the Sprite already poured because it's a lot clearer. Look at this. It's literally clear. This one is clear too. You know what? Both of them work. It's all that matters. This video has changed my life. I wouldn't do a million of these, but we know that it works. One more. This is pineapple flavor Sprite. That sounds so good. So my favorite method is actually to pour the Sprite first. It's just a lot cleaner. For some reason, when you crunch it up, it works a lot better. Look, it mixes itself in the most satisfying way too. Like the gradient is beautiful. This would be amazing for cocktails. That's not my favorite. The pineapple one doesn't add as much flavor. The peach one is crazy. This is 300% approved. This is one of the most creative things my brain has ever come up with. So I'm really proud of myself for this one. I'm about to change bartenders' jobs all around the world. Now, you just gotta keep your cotton candy dry because this disappears a little bit too quick. The food hack of the year, I would call it. I got this box of 6 donuts from Walmart specifically for the video. I told myself as I was checking out, this is specifically for the video. How are we here? I recently found out that when you microwave marshmallows, they become crunchy in a very almost crystallized texture. And immediately I thought, that would be amazing on a plain donut. I'm using the mini marshmallows because they will melt more evenly. I am going to assume that I'm never going to be able to use this plate ever again. Once this solidifies in here, it's over. Okay, so I'm going to microwave this 20 seconds. I gotta have a look at the microwave. It's already there. How is this possible? Okay, I'm gonna try it like this. I am going to dip my donut in the marshmallows. Look at this. And into the Oreo. This works. I'll have marshmallow literally everywhere. Oh my god, it's sticking to the plate. I told you. I mean, visually, this is crazy. This looks like the ultimate cookies and cream donut. I'm not even exaggerating. It took 10 seconds from the moment this was a plain donut to this. If you gave this to somebody, they'd be like, you've been to Krispy Kreme. And also, I do have 3 marshmallows in between my fingers. This is like Spider-Man had diabetes. But this time around, I'm going to make sure that the marshmallows cook until they get crispy, because I think the first one, it's gonna be soft. Marshmallows, microwave. I gotta believe in this now. So I am going to dip the donut in the marshmallows, twist. and you get this texture, and then I'm gonna put it into the toppings, which in this case it's chopped nuts. It literally makes any donut look insane. Like this looks like straight out of a bakery. Like this isn't real. This is a Walmart great value donut. I could have used even less marshmallows because I got loads of leftover. This is what you get in the end. This looks like I went to a fancy bakery. Oh, there is crunch in there. That is so delicious. Marshmallow instead of frosting. It's so much better. It holds so much better. Look, not messy. It's creamy. Not to give myself too much credit, but I think I'm gonna change the world of donuts. I think once people catch up to this, which they will, you will see this on TikTok or YouTube Shorts. This is life-changing. This is truly a very unique way to make donuts. I want to save it. That's how beautiful this is. Still warm. Now imagine graham crackers and chocolate. That would have been great. A s'mores donut. And it looks amazing too. I am a creative genius. This idea came to me because I hate the texture of a s'more. You got the marshmallow inside, you got the chocolate, and then you squish it and you bite into it. It kind of falls apart everywhere. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to melt the chocolate. So I'm just going to do this in the microwave. So these are indoor marshmallows. Maybe that's the name of the hack. I need to trademark these. So while the chocolate is melting, I am going to prepare, we're using graham cracker crumbs instead of actual graham crackers. And this will make sense, but for now, all you're gonna need to do is put it on a plate. I really believe I'm doing something here. I'm that delusional. Now for the marshmallows, you can do two different things. You can just use them as it is. Now if you like the marshmallow roasted, I am going to do this just with a lighter. I don't want to change the texture too much. I just want to create that... Why is it on fire? This is really quick, as you can see. Look at this. It literally... So what I've done here was add some color to my marshmallow. I added a little bit too much color, but you get the idea. You can just go a little bit lighter. Then I'm gonna mix my chocolate chips. They're not fully melted yet. I hope you see where this is going. I swear, there's a genius who lives inside here. So now that we've got our marshmallow, we've also got the melted chocolate and the graham cracker crumbs. So I'm gonna start with my toasted marshmallow. I'm gonna roll it around the melted chocolate, which surprisingly, it works very well. And by the way, it looks incredible. We go directly into the graham cracker crumbs. We just made a s'more that not only you can enjoy with your hands without getting messy, because this will set, and it has all the toasty flavors of a real s'more inside a perfect... I actually might be a genius. I need to get tested for IQ. I don't think anyone has ever operated at this level. Look at this. That actually looks insane. This could be its own business. So you could enjoy it as it is, just bite into it and it's going to be melty. But if you want s'mores throughout the entire day, you just put it on a glass, you let it dry, you make a couple of these. These are going to be crunchy and then toasty in the middle. I'm gonna try to do this one with a different torch because I don't want it to go as toasty. So I'm gonna do it from a distance. The fact that you can have indoor s'mores like this is crazy. Like you don't even need a campfire. Yeah, we're getting a little bit carried away. I was a little bit more gentle with this one. So this one is for someone who is not too crazy about the toasty bits. You can go directly into the melted chocolate. It just works. Don't ask me how I came up with this. I had an epiphany. And the amount of chocolate you get to is insane. And then into the graham crackers. And by the way, if any of these hacks already exist in the world, don't tell me. Don't crush my dreams. I think I've done my big one. Like, this is crazy, right? I'm gonna let this set here, and then we're gonna bite into it when the chocolate is crunchy again. Babe, wake up. Your inside-out s'mores are here. These are s'mores. They now last the entire day. Let's go for this one. Oh my god. If it works the way I want it to work, it will be crunchy, but then there's also burnt s'more on the inside. Oh my god. And this is what it looks like on the inside. I could also eat the whole thing in one bite. I'm not going to, but it is what my instinct is to eat the whole thing in one bite. This is crazy. The marshmallow stays kind of soft weirdly. Like it kind of changes the texture. It is the texture of a s'more. It's like a demon s'more trapped inside a chocolate Pandora box, you know? That is a very strange way to describe it, but that is what came to me. Is this an improved way to eat a s'more? Yes, this is the greatest s'more I've ever eaten in my entire life. The only downside is that I've only made these many. I should have made a lot more than this. That is the only downside. If this works the way I'm envisioning in my head, this will shift timelines. First of all, you want to grab the cheapest popcorn you can find. It literally does not matter. We're going to spice this up and bring it somewhere else. You're gonna need some frosting, and honestly, it does not matter what flavor it is. I'm using the Oreo flavored one, but vanilla is just fine. Find the cheapest you can find, and we're gonna do something controversial with it. I am going to microwave my frosting. 20 to 30 seconds, maybe, because it's butter. It will go liquid very, very quickly. Then I'm gonna use these Oreo minis. This was on sale. That is the only reason why I got these. I'm gonna crunch these up. Can I crunch them just by shaking it? No. I'm going to crunch these up, but just crunch regular Oreos. It will be the same. Why is it so difficult to crunch up? If I get a splinter, I'm gonna be so mad. That's my biggest fear in life. It literally is top 3 fears of mine. Splinters, things that explode. Eventually you'll get there, where it kind of looks like this. Why is it still bubbling up? Do you hear this? I don't think you understand how terrifying this is. I'm gonna mix it in. I'm not gonna question it. I'm just gonna hope that it works. But I kind of wish this wasn't looking like this. What have we done? What texture is this? Now I'm gonna open the bag of popcorn. I've mixed this again until it kind of emulsifies again. So you see, it's just frosting but liquid now. It's not as horrifying as earlier. So directly into the popcorn, I am going to add frosting. You do not want to see what this looks like. I'm gonna close it and I'm gonna shake this as well. I'm gonna add a little bit more frosting because I just don't think it was quite enough. This is the main ingredient. We're gonna add the Oreo minis. If this works, the Oreo will stick to the frosting and the frosting will stick to the popcorn. I'm gonna shake this as well as one can shake something. Guys, I am afraid I am an actual genius. Do you see how well this is sticking? If this has worked inside this bag, I should have Oreo flavored popcorn. Oh my god. It is so much better than I imagined. Look at this. It is pretty damn incredible. It worked out better than I could have ever imagined. You know when something is in your head and then it translates to something that just works and you're not used to that? That's how this has worked out. This is incredible. I will say there is too much frosting in the bottom of the bag. Like it just stay there like a pool of frosting. So maybe go less on the frosting and mix in a bigger bag. That was my real challenge. I would do it again the same way because to me it worked out perfectly. Look at the way it sticks to it. It could not. Still crunchy. It's so good. This is such an elevation to like the basic cheapest popcorn you can get. And then in some bites you actually get some pieces of Oreo in it, like real chunks of Oreo. It's creamy, it's crunchy, it's sweet, it's very addictive. It's the best sweet popcorn I think you can make at home. Like honestly, this is like better than the stuff at the cinema. Oh my god, it's so good. And I think as it sits here, the frosting will become a little more solid. And it will be even better. I truly have done something. I've outdone myself here. You can also do more Oreo on top if it isn't completely mixed. You see, it looks even better like that. If you want to present it like this, I think this would look even superior. Technically 3 ingredients and you can make Oreo popcorn that will change your movie watching experiences. You're welcome. I gotta stop eating this. Now, last one. No, that was the last one. This hack came to me because I am selfish. That is the only reason. Whenever I go to people's houses and they offer me candy, it's almost always this kind of gummies. You know, like the standard Haribo gummy bears? You know when candy is not the sour type and it's just plain? I hate this kind of candy. So I tried coming up with a hack to fix it. I'm gonna start by putting all these gummy worms, and they're just the cheapest, most boring type of candy. I need to transform this into candy that I like, because this is not it. So I'm gonna give you 2 options. You can either use lime juice or lemon juice. I'm gonna go for lime just because I like the flavor slightly better. And I don't want too much, literally a few drops. I just need to create some moisture in here. So like, that's it. I'm going to massage this so that there's some kind of wetness in there, but not too much that this is slimy, you know? Then you're gonna pick your favorite flavor of Jello. I'm going for the berry blue because I want this to be like almost tangy like, and I'm gonna sprinkle this on top of the lime juice, and these are like sticking out. Look at this, like they just stay. We're gonna do a little bit and like mix it because you don't want to go too crazy here, but because of the lime juice it adds the sour flavor, but it also makes them sticky. Oh my god, this looks exactly the same. In 5 seconds this went from just really boring plain gummy worms into the sour, tangy, berry flavor, and you can make this any flavor you want. For me, I would add even more of the jello flavor, but I'm gonna be conservative. It works perfectly. It's kind of crazy how well this actually works. It doesn't look like something you made at home. It looks like you bought it from the actual store. If you want to make them extra tangy, you can also add this thing called citric acid, like a powder. Add maybe a little bit of it, just a sprinkle. But I personally think this will be enough because this flavor is already tangy. I want to go for a really coated one. Let's go for this one. That's crazy. I came up with this. This is insane. It's so good that this is the best part. It also makes it look better. It changes the color of it because you add this powder and it just adds more color to it. So immediately it elevates the cheapest kind of gummies that you have into different flavors. You could even mix different jello flavors. I hope I'm the first person to come up with this. I'm really proud of this one. You will not regret this. You can only watch this if you're a morally corrupt person. If you don't like cheating, then don't watch this. This is not for you. Okay, now that it's just us. This is a hack into tricking people into thinking that you are a baking genius, the bread maker of your town. The one ingredient you will need is the cinnamon rolls. I'm using the big ones, but I think this will work with anything. First of all, I need to open this and I'm scared. Oh. That was easy. In this specific one, you get 5 different cinnamon rolls. And I am going to shape this in a way that people are going to think that you made this at home. So I'm going to separate every single cinnamon roll first. Wait, I have a plan, I promise. I am going to unroll my cinnamon rolls. I know, crazy. Okay, I'm gonna do the same with all of them. I wanna get 5 equal strips. This looks like rage bait content, but I really do believe in this. I believe in myself that much. I typed on Google 5-strand braided bread tutorial, and this is it. First thing we're gonna do is you're gonna bunch up all the strands. I hope this is going somewhere. Then this one moves over here. And I'm trying to be gentle because I don't want this to break. And now these move over here. And this one moves over here. So you just have to do this continuously. I think this is basically how it goes every time. Again, this one moves over here. This one over here. I mean, you can't really see it, but you just have to trust me. So we're gonna do this over and over again. I think we're essentially at the end. I'm just gonna bunch them again like we did on the other end. Slightly shift it sideways. I know it doesn't look like much yet, but remember, this will bake. The size looks perfect to me. It looks a little bit messy. That is why we're going to crack an egg, whisk it, and then using a pastry brush, I'm just going to brush, and this is going to make it look like it was homemade, and people are really gonna believe. Like, no one is gonna think this is Pillsbury dough. So imagine, I just changed the holiday season, Easter, Christmas, birthdays, for the entirety of time. We are going to bake this according to the Pillsbury dough instruction. That's what it is at the end of the day. And I hope this works. I hope this becomes what I'm envisioning in my head. So I think our braided bread is ready. What? These are cinnamon rolls? It truly does look homemade. I mean, I need to get rid of the tray because this all looks really messy. We're still not fully done because you forgot. Pillsbury dough also gives you the cream cheese frosting, and I am not going to waste this. Okay, so we're just gonna go kind of like that. If we do too much, it's not going to look like fancy, you know? We're trying to cheat the system here. And using icing sugar, I am going to finish my braided bread. If this isn't an elevation to a cinnamon roll, I don't know what is. This looks like you bought it in Italy. That is Italian bakery level, except this is Pillsbury dough. I really hope I'm the first person to come up with this. So how would you eat it? Because now it's time to eat it. Would you slice into it? I mean, it's super soft. It's a cinnamon roll, but no one's gonna know. And inside, you get all these cinnamon swirls. Even when it's sliced up, like if you slice up the entire thing, like I'm about to, this alone is a hack because this is so much better to eat than a cinnamon roll. And usually these breads are just plain in the middle, and ours is actually got flavor. Wow, I've really outdone myself. Thank you, brain, for putting these thoughts together. Cheers. Oh my god, it's crispy. It's doughy. It's so flavorful. Cinnamon, the icing sugar, like there's pockets of flavor everywhere. This is crazy. This is one of the best hacks I've ever made, and it didn't come from TikTok. A 10 out of 10 food item. I'm gonna say 2 triggering words. Before you freak out at me, you have to give me a chance to explain myself. I came up with something I'm going to call a poor man's Dubai chocolate. This costs $1, the whole thing. It's Rice Krispies. These are white melting wafers. Also cost like $1.29. The only thing that costs a little bit more, and there's no way around it, is pistachio butter. So this is like around $4. We're only gonna need maybe like $1.50 worth of it. I'm gonna start by spraying this because I do want to be able to get them out. And then I'm gonna put these in the microwave. If you don't have these melting wafers, it's literally white chocolate. So you can just use white chocolate for this. You wanna be careful melting this because these burn really quickly. So 30 seconds, mix. 30 seconds, mix. Meanwhile, I'm going to open the pistachio butter and I'm just gonna mix it because there's always like weird stuff going around in there. Actually, that is pretty smooth. Also, I'm going to open the Rice Krispies because we gotta move quick here. Here I've got my melted chocolate, so I'm just going to mix it. Make sure it's all melty. White chocolate is really difficult to melt. For some reason, it always burns. But if you do it right, it will look like something like this. I am going to add however many Rice Krispies you want. I'm going to say, like, this amount will be good for me. I'm gonna do something crazy, which is spray my gloves with non-stick spray. I promise you, you do not want to skip this. I'm going to add my pistachio butter. It's not that much that you need. You still want this to like be able to solidify and not stay as a butter. I'm going to mix it in. This creates like a smooth, like marble effect kind of sauce, which we're then going to pour on top of our Rice Krispies. Now you're going to massage this in. This is why we had to spray our gloves. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to flatten this down. Oh my god, this is actually more difficult than I thought. I gotta lose my gloves because this is getting too sticky even for me. I won't lie to you, ain't the easiest job in the world, sure. This looks like it won't turn into anything, but obviously remember it's white chocolate, so it has to solidify. If your hands don't look like this by the end of it, you're not making the poor man's Dubai chocolate. If you want this to truly stay super even, you can do a little bit of non-stick spray on top, and then using parchment paper, you can press it down. This will make it a lot easier. If the Rice Krispies break a little bit, it actually adds to the flavor and to the texture. If you've done this right, nothing should stick. There you go. And you've got a thin layer of this pistachio Rice Krispie mixture. That was not meant to happen. I got a little too brave. And for our last step, we're going to make the chocolate layer that goes on top of the pistachio crunch, which is, in my case, it's going to be chocolate that I already own. Just use whatever you've got. And I'm going to use some Lindt chocolate as well. I'm gonna microwave this 10 seconds, check 10 seconds because you don't want to burn this. Here we've got our melted chocolate. Mine looks kind of weird because honestly I'm just using leftover chocolate that I've already had at home. Use whatever causes the least economic impact in your wallet. Mine has some nuts in it, which I think is going to add to the texture. And now we're going to pour this all over our pistachio crunch. I can just move it. You'll still see the texture of the Rice Krispies in the bottom, but I think that's what makes it look good. It looks like there's going to be texture to it. That is literally it. We didn't use many ingredients, and if you happen to already have chocolate at home, even better. So I'm going to let this set, and then hopefully this will be crunchy and satisfying. And here we've got our Dubai chocolate. If we've done this correctly, this will come off very easy because we did take all the necessary steps, and I think it will. There we go. Look at that, it solidifies. Now, how would you break into it? I have no idea. I'm not sure if this is going to cut the way we want it to cut. It did? Oh my god. Do you know how easy this was to make versus the fact that it looks like the real thing? And it's so much cheaper as well. It cracks even better than the real one, and it cuts even better. I did something. I might have changed the country of Dubai. I'm going one country at a time. You can even cut it down to individual squares, so if you want to put this in the fridge, keep it at room temperature, it's fine either way. So we've got the layer of dark chocolate on top, and then the fudgy rice in the bottom. So let's see if it tastes like the Dubai chocolate. No, it does not taste like the Dubai chocolate. It tastes so much better. Like, I'm being so for real. You can taste the pistachio. The white chocolate is just there to carry the texture. You can't really taste it. And the crispiness, the crunchiness is insane. Listen to this. It's truly like life-changing. I'm being so for real. This is better than the Dubai chocolate. I've made it before on my channel. It was good, but not this good. This is so much easier, so much better, so much cheaper. I'm giving myself credit here. I really did something today. These are going back to the fridge where they will stay for the rest of the week. You can even cut it into pieces and put it back in here. We probably will eat it in one day because it's addictive. This is a 10 out of 10. Recipe in flavor. When you make a tres leches cake, you basically get a vanilla sponge, and usually you soak it with 3 different types of milk. I was thinking about all the types of milk that go into the tres leches cake. That's what makes ice cream. Ice cream is essentially milk, cream, condensed milk, and on top of it, it's got flavoring. So I thought if we put this in the microwave, this is essentially going to become milk. And I'm gonna use that to soak my tres leches cake. I see some potential in this. You probably can't see, but this is made with real vanilla bean, like the powder. It is promising. So I'm going to microwave this for 30 seconds? I don't know. It smells like a frappuccino. Oh, it's not fully melted, but most of it. This is melted ice cream. So I'm gonna make tiny little holes in my sponge cake. You know, this is the way you make a tres leches cake. Imagine if I change history. Imagine if this changes the way people make tres leches cake forever. If this works, it will soak into the sponge cake. If it doesn't work, it probably won't. It will just sit on top. You can kind of see the size of the holes. So we're about to pour melted ice cream into a vanilla cake. This is so silly. It's absorbing it. And I'm doing this at an angle. This 100% works. Look, you can even move this around if you really need to. Most of it is being absorbed. There's just some sitting on the sides. It fully absorbed the ice cream very quickly to the point where like I can put this sideways and there's no ice cream coming out. Not a drop. I was so scared this wasn't gonna work, but let's go crazy. Let's add all the ice cream. I also don't want it to be too crazy wet. You can even see the specks of vanilla bean. I'm gonna put this in the fridge and I'm gonna let it set for a couple hours at least, and I will check in with you to see if this has fully absorbed and became one with the sponge cake. It's only been like 2 hours. Let me ask the audience. It is fully absorbed. Like if you think this is gonna be like melting ice cream, nope. Usually tres leches cake has some cream on top. Don't ask questions. That's, I guess, another hack. I'm gonna smooth this out a little bit, but this is essentially going to be the covering for our tres leches cake. Now imagine you go somewhere and you're like, oh, here's the tres leches cake that I made. It cuts too easy. I'm gonna go for the very center piece. That is what I deserve for coming up with this. That looks perfect. This is literally a 3-ingredient tres leches cake. The name has more ingredients than the actual cake. Let's see what it's given. It sounds wet when you cut into it. Listen to this. It still holds its integrity. You get specks of vanilla bean in the actual cake. People are gonna think you're a baker. Oh my god. You don't get it. You're not fully seeing the vision. Because in order to see the vision, you'd have to try this. It tastes like so creamy, milky. The sweetness is perfect. It's the best cake I have ever made with these hands. This is the best vanilla cake I've ever eaten. This is insane. You have to try this. If it's somebody's birthday, literally do this. 3 ingredients. This is crazy. 10 out of 10. Last year when I was in New York, I wanted to go to this bakery. They make this square croissants. I'm not sure if you've seen them, but that got me thinking, can I make this with simple stuff that I've got at home? And maybe. So I'm gonna try it. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to spray it heavily. This really has to be sprayed because if this sticks, it's over. And for the dough, I'm gonna be using Pillsbury crescents. I don't know what a crescent is, but it sounds like croissant, and that's good enough for me. Why am I still scared of this? I am going to unroll this and I'm going to spray some melted butter on it. Just use real butter if you're doing this. I want to create that flakiness. And I know this dough is already flaky, but I'm adding flakiness to the flakiness, you know? And then I'm going to sprinkle some sugar in the layers because I want it to be sweet. It's a dessert at the end of the day, right? Not too much because otherwise it will stick. And if this works, I'm going to create something that people pay $19 to get, and this doesn't even cost me $1.50. How do we do this? I'm gonna say we roll it up again into something that kind of is like this, and then maybe fold. I would go like this. Is this enough dough to make this square? Maybe not. We need a little bit more, I think. This is the same thing, just different brand. And I'm gonna grab half of it. Ooh, the quality of this is a lot worse than the Pillsbury one. And then sugar. If this works, I would get creative with other stuff in the center, but obviously this is my first try. I'm not gonna get that ambitious yet. We got the curly edges. I think this will become a square because it will rise a lot. I'm gonna say we are done. This is going to bake for I have no idea. It feels like it should be 40 minutes because I want it to be golden brown on the edges. We just gotta trust it blindly that it will work out. If this works, I am going to end careers of bakeries all around the world because people are gonna do this with Walmart great value crescent rolls. So this cooked for a total of 22-23 minutes. There's a hole in the bottom and all the butter that we put into it has leaked. And my entire house smells like burned oil. This is croissant reveal. 3, 2, 1. Please be square. Oh my god, look at that. I mean, this side, perfect. The rest, I have no idea. I mean, it looks like bread. I hope this is cooked in the center, because I'm not sure anymore. It's too jiggly in the center. I'm gonna coat this with honey on all sides to give it that look. I think this will make it look like the French bakery kind of thing. When you're done, your Walmart great value crescent roll looks like this. That is kind of a food hack. I gotta keep it real. Now, did this cook in the center? Okay. Wait, it is kind of cutting in the center. Ugh. It was too good to be real. What do we do in this scenario? Do we put it back in? Obviously, it wouldn't be me if we just gave up. Oh, this is still very hot. I went and baked this again. This is cursed at this point. It has baked for over an hour in total. It smells really good now. It smells like roast honey. Wait, this looks a lot better because that is what it's supposed to look like if you've ever seen one of these. And you can even tell that we cut into it. Now, the French people, they want to see me dead. There's so much butter in here. It's also slippery. Oh my god, that is exactly what it's supposed to look like. And not even the honey stuck to it. This is perfect, beautiful. This is exactly what I wanted. This is $1 from Walmart. I am going to cover it in honey again. This time, guys, I know it's going to work because I cannot bake this any longer. And just imagine this is like sunset. There's like TikTok music in the background. That kind of aesthetic video, except it's me creating chaos. But look at this. It is truly beautiful. We made Walmart crescent roll into this. That is a food hack. That is like a life hack because you can sell these now. And should I post this video? Should I just open a bakery? Please tell me it's baked in the center. I'm not baking it again. This is it now. If this worked, I want to see layers on the inside. Oh my god, it's fully cooked. I have no idea what this is going to taste like. I can kind of see the swirls a little bit, not as much as I would have liked. It smells buttery. This is like the world's best French toast. Oh, I can't say French because they will come for me. When you cut into it, you can kind of see the layers, see they're peeling off, but it's hard to like explain, but there are layers going on with like the butter and everything. Cut the cameras. This is the best thing I think I've ever made ever. It's so buttery in the middle, the honey on the outside, the crispy edges, the fluffiness. This is crazy. I don't even possess the words to describe to you how good this is. You see the way it looks from the outside? That's what it tastes like. A square, sticky, delicious piece of heaven. You're about to change lives in your social circles because this is crazy. 10 out of 10. I would like to start by apologizing because this idea came to me. I saved it as a voice note on my phone at 3 a.m. It still doesn't fully make sense, but I kind of see where I was trying to go. So I've got a pizza from Walmart, just the frozen kind, the fresh one, but if you use the frozen one, just let it sit outside at room temperature for like an hour or two. I tried to transform a pretty cheap, like $1.99 pizza into its own thing. First of all, I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of garlic on the inside and some Italian seasoning. And then I am going to essentially roll this up. It's already failing. It kind of worked. I am going to slice this, let's start in the middle. And we have essentially created a pizza roll-up. Wait, this is going somewhere, I promise. I'm gonna use a chopstick, insert it right in the middle, all the way, and then I'm gonna cut my pizza roll-up. What you get is a pizza roll-up on a stick. Oh man, it's getting worse and worse. We got 2 pizza roll-ups, and then 3 pizza roll-ups on a stick. That's what I deemed acceptable in my feverish 3 a.m. dream. And I'm gonna put this on a tray, and I'm gonna do the same with this one. This one is working a lot better, so maybe there's a way to make this possible and make this not look as bad. So you insert the chopstick like this, hold up, this one is actually working pretty well. This is what you do with your pizza. You might be asking, what is the point of this? I don't know, but this is what you get. You get pizza on a stick, which I guess would be a good way to serve it at like a party. And next up, I'm gonna grab one egg. I'm just gonna mix the egg. I'm going to add some Italian seasoning. This is like the part where we add the flavor. And some garlic powder. And you want to combine this with the egg. So this is going to add a whole lot more flavor than just, you know, the stuff in the pizza. I'm gonna grab my pizza on a stick and I am going to brush them with this eggy seasoning, which is gonna make it golden. It's gonna keep its integrity so that it actually stays like this because, you know, I have doubts. But it's also gonna add a whole lot of flavor. So we're trying to elevate something that is pretty not expensive and make it into something special. That is the hack. So I'm gonna flip it and do it on the other side too. You do end up using most of the egg. Obviously this is not cooked yet, but if I saw this, I'd be like, what is this delicious kebab looking thing? Like, it actually keeps its integrity. I'm gonna say 15 minutes in the oven. If you have an air fryer, a lot quicker. Here we've got our pizza roll-ups. That is going to be what I'm going to call them. It looks like eggy kebabs. It looks good. I would still go and add some melted butter and garlic on top of this. I think this would take this to the next level. It might taste good, you know? It looks more interesting than pizza. Let's give it a try. That's delicious. It's also really, really hot. The cheese stays melting in the center and the edges are crispy, so you get a lot more texture than if you're eating pizza. And then obviously the flavor with the egg on the outside. I'm trying to show you the center because the cheese is almost like stretchy in the center. Way cheesier than regular pizza, even though it's got the same amount of cheese. The textures are really, really enjoyable. I think this would be great for a birthday party. I don't think this would be great for a birthday party because imagine your guests, my pizza is vertically challenged. But then you just tell them, that's not a pizza on a stick, that's a pizza kebab that you now eat horizontally. This makes it more fun. It's not that much effort. I'm not mad at it. I mean, I came up with it, so obviously I'm proud of it. It's like my child on a stick. I don't think anyone's gonna try this though. This is just a hypothetical scenario, but imagine you're enjoying specifically 1.5 cups of milk. And this is just how you eat your morning cereal. And obviously you're enjoying it with your favorite cereal, because this is a regular amount of cereal. Actually, that is a realistic amount. I'm not even, like, that is, yeah, that's what it is. So, you know, I'm just eating this and really making sure that the milk is marinating in this cereal. And when I'm eating, I'm mostly eating the cereal and not the milk, because that's also important for this. Wow. That's delicious. That's crazy. I'm gonna give it like 20 minutes for this to really soak up because that's how long it takes me to eat my breakfast. Okay, so now let's imagine that I've actually eaten the cereal. I don't know what the best way to do this. I'm really gonna squeeze this. That's just how I eat my cereal. Now for real, let's imagine this is the amount of cereal that you had for breakfast and sometimes you're left with the milk, and this has definitely happened to me before. If I eat too much cereal and I'm left with the milk, I'm too full and I don't wanna have the milk anymore. So I created a hack for this scenario. The Betty Crocker pancake mix takes exactly 1.5 cups of water. Instead of water, we're going to use the leftover cereal milk and add flavor to. Our pancakes are going to be cinnamon toast crunch flavor. And I want all those cinnamon dolce sprinkles. So, that's it. We're grabbing one leftover and adding it into here. This is definitely going to make the pancakes a lot richer. It becomes kind of like a dessert in my head, so it's worth it. I'm not trying to be dramatic, but I think my Betty Crocker mix is going to explode. I don't know if it's because of the milk. Okay, these are going to be really thick. I can already tell. Oh, that's gonna be a rich pancake. And you can see the pieces of cinnamon toast crunch. Okay, that's gonna be interesting. So far, the texture is completely normal. These look so tall and fluffy. Way more than when you make them with water. Okay, that looks pretty good. It smells a little bit like Play-Doh. Yeah, I'm not getting cinnamon, I'm getting Play-Doh. Okay, they look super tall. It almost looks like a dorayaki. Am I crazy, or do these not look real at all? Like, I've never seen pancakes that look like that. That looks like prop food. I'm like, is the simulation glitching? Okay, so let's cut into it and see what it's giving. Oh my god, they're so fluffy, look at this. I think I broke the simulation by creating cinnamon toast crunch pancakes. The biggest difference I see so far is that they're a lot cakier. Hold up before we call the Nobel Prize judges. The flavor of Cinnamon Toast Crunch is so strong, even though I didn't even let it sit for that long. I was kind of like rushing this whole thing. It's like a classic like IHOP style pancake in terms of texture, but the flavor of your childhood morning cartoons. It tastes like a Saturday morning cartoon. 100% a way to elevate this. In fact, this is going to the fridge because I'm eating this for breakfast tomorrow. This is almost embarrassing, but I could not sleep the other day thinking about this. If I got this dough for cinnamon rolls, this is just your average cinnamon roll dough here in America. Instead of making it as a cinnamon roll, I squashed it down as much as I can. Will it bake as bread? If it does bake as bread, can I then slice it like bread and use it to make toast? So I'm going to give that a try. There we go. I'm going to spray this heavily. So how would you place this if you wanted this to become bread? Would you place it like this? And then when you slice into it, you see the swirls? That would be a good idea. I'm gonna go like this. Oh my god, this is gonna be so good. Do you see the vision? So in total, this loaf of bread will cost me, I don't know how much these cost, but it definitely will not break the bank. This is it. This is how we're going to bake the cinnamon rolls. I just want to say, this looks ridiculous. Only I would be willing to actually give this a try. This does not look like cinnamon rolls anymore. But how cool if this works and we can slice into it like bread. I'm gonna guess this will cook for a long time. 40 minutes is not a stretch. These are cinnamon rolls. I'm gonna say 40 minutes and I'll show you the results. So here we've got our cinnamon roll loaf. I'm not sure if this worked out exactly. This is ridiculous. It's made of cinnamon rolls and it's a loaf. You can just peel it off and that's a slice now. I didn't even think about that. So let's see if it slices, if we can get a slice of it. It's 100% possible. Oh my god. A little bit of butter. This is crazy. You can do some thicker ones. You can do thinner ones. The most important thing is it looks ridiculous. And you can probably also just use your hands and peel it off. You can just use your hands and... I mean, it does work. A little bit of butter here now and this would be perfect. I'm just gonna go for it as it is. You could even share with somebody. It's definitely different than a regular cinnamon roll. It would be perfect with a little bit of Nutella. Maybe you could dip this into frosting or icing. You get the texture of bread, not cinnamon rolls, which is really weird, but it becomes bread. And if you don't believe me, just look at it. That's bread. This is definitely a new way to eat a cinnamon roll. We did something different. In Brazil, they invented this thing that I would say it's one of my top 5 favorite foods of all time. It's called cheese bread and it's mostly cheese and tapioca flour. Some recipes add egg, but it's kind of optional. In my head, I thought if Brazil came up with cheese bread by adding tapioca flour, what happens if we come up with mac and cheese bread by adding tapioca flour into mac and cheese? Sometimes the brain cells, they talk to each other. I'm going to prepare this according to the instructions. So I'm going to fill this up with water all the way to the line. And this is going to go in the microwave for 3.5 minutes. I've officially microwaved the pasta and I'm just gonna pour into a clear container. We're gonna add the cheese powder. I don't know how many breads we're gonna get out of this, but one of these is probably like $1. It could potentially cost cents to make this. I'm going to prepare this exactly the way they do it in the package, which is just mix the cheese until it's combined. I've actually never had one of these, a microwave one. This is crazy to me that you can make this in the microwave. And what's crazier is that people do eat this, but you know, sometimes I'm there too. Now we're gonna add baking powder and tapioca flour. I'm gonna measure everything in order for you guys to be able to make this. So 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And this is gonna make them rise. I'm gonna mix this in. 2 tablespoons of tapioca flour. 1, 2. And let's see where that takes us in terms of texture. It's very fluffy because of the baking powder, so maybe you're doing something right. It's lumpier than I thought it would be. It's still too liquidy for bread consistency, so I'm gonna say 2 more tablespoons of tapioca flour. Maybe 1 more. So this brings the total to 3. I feel like it's getting closer to like a bread dough, but even this, I think it needs one more. So 4 tablespoons in total. Yeah, okay, so this is moving a lot more like dough. Like, it feels like I could almost use my hands to mix this. I think I'm gonna do 2 more and that's it. This brings the total of tapioca flour to 6 tablespoons per container of mac and cheese. You end up with this, which doesn't look appetizing, but I believe this will turn into bread somehow. So I'm gonna use one of these trays. You can just use like a cupcake tray or something. And I don't know how many this is going to make, but I'm gonna use the center ones to make sure it's even. I'm not gonna go too crazy with my scoops because these are probably going to rise because of the baking powder. If we can transform mac and cheese into bread, I'm like the second Jesus. Like, didn't Jesus transform something into bread? And he's pretty popular. Now imagine if he did it with Kraft. Sky's the limit, literally, because it's Jesus. This is what our bread dough looks like. That tastes like cheese bread. I'm gonna bake it at a pretty low temperature and see where it goes. Maybe 375 degrees, 12 minutes, and hopefully I have bread to show you in just a second. I'm not entirely sure about this. I mean, on the bottom part, it kind of does look like Brazilian cheese bread, except it didn't rise and it doesn't look the most appetizing on top. They are soft, even though they look like bricks. Actually, I kind of changed my mind. I thought it was a complete failure, but now that I'm looking at it, I mean, that is kind of the texture of Brazilian cheese bread, except maybe a little bit dense. Okay, less tapioca flour. It kind of tastes like bubble tea. It needed less tapioca flour, but it's not bad. If I went back, I would change the amount to 4. But it does remind me of the flavor and the texture of Brazilian cheese bread. It's super cheesy. I don't know, I kind of like it. I'm not far off from like a perfect recipe. This needs one more try with 4 tablespoons of tapioca flour instead, and each bread should be a little bit bigger so that it's not as stretchy. I really like it. It really reminds me of Brazilian cheese bread. Minus the cheese. It's not a 10 or a 10, but it's a solid 7, and we're not even fully there with the recipe. Maybe skip this one. One of my favorite things of all time is the vanilla cold foam cold brew from Starbucks. There's something about that cold foam. It's creamy, vanilla, it's straight up sugar. That's why I love it. I had to come up with a fix for it. So my fix is the following. For our base, we're going to use just whatever cold brew you've got. I'm trying to come up with a healthy copycat. That is my food hack. So I'm gonna use the one that I would have got at Starbucks. We gotta create a healthy version of their cold foam that, first of all, is not going to cost $7, and second of all, it's not straight up sugar. And this is why I think I might be a genius, because there's this vanilla milk, the Fairlife one. This is straight up protein, like 27 grams of protein. What? That's like 2 chicken breasts. I'm gonna add the same amount I would have for cold foam. That's why I'm using the exact same glass. That's probably how much cold foam I would want. But then the problem is, it's just going to mix. It's not going to become cold foam, except I am going to sprinkle some of this 0 sugar vanilla jello powder. And these are so bad for you, I'm aware, but we're trying to use a very small amount. We can't do too much because this will become pudding. We gotta find something that will transform this into cold foam without becoming pudding. Trial and error. I don't think we're quite there yet. It's too liquidy. I think it needs a little bit more. Like, I don't want pudding on my drink. I completely forget these doubles in size. I think it's too liquidy. I think this is not cold foam yet. The good thing is you can adjust. Nothing's gonna happen unless you add too much and it becomes pudding. I am scared. This is kind of looking like... Wait, do you see this texture? That is the texture of the cold foam. It's sitting on top. And it's like 50 grams of protein. It's pretty close to the texture of cold foam. Like, it's not pudding-like. That tastes like creme brulee. That actually works. I wonder what happens when he mixes with the drink. Because like, that works a little bit too well. The Starbucks commercials look like this. Then you go to the store and you don't get this. What happens if he mixes with the drink? It just doesn't. Let's give it a try. I'm not getting any coffee yet. Just creme brulee flavor. This together makes creme brulee. So if you like creme brulee, you're gonna be very happy with this. That's pretty good. The flavor is more creme brulee than anything. I was expecting like the vanilla cold foam flavor, but it's actually vanilla creme brulee flavor, which I like. I wanna know what happens. Will this mix with the drink? It's a little chunky, but so is the Starbucks one. I like it. It tastes like its own thing. I came up with my own invention rather than what I thought I was doing. It's not a copycat recipe. It's a creme brulee cold brew made at home for very inexpensive and high protein. That's a long title, but that's what it is. I like it, but if you want exactly the same, you might have to go to my copycat recipe videos. I'm sure I've done it at some point. Still a sleigh though. In America, we have this thing which is an instant mashed potato where you add hot water. It's a good idea. It's a great product. It tastes amazing. It always makes me think there's gotta be more that we can make with it other than mashed potatoes. So I thought, hear me out, you crack one egg into a bowl, and I'm doing one egg because I'm only making one, and that is the smallest amount possible. Then I guess we could scramble it first. You know, here's the part that makes this a hack. I am going to add some potato flakes, and we are making a hash brown waffle. I don't know how much of this powder we're gonna add. I'll show you the consistency by the end if you want to recreate this. I'm gonna start with this amount. Hash browns are some of my the most buttery smell I've ever smelled in my entire life. This just took a turn. Anyways, hash browns are some of my favorite foods, and I never make it because it just takes so much work. It could be that this is going to work. I mean, I don't know though. The potato is kind of crunchy. We need a whole lot more. And now maybe I added too much. No, that kind of seems like it. If you make a hash brown, it takes so long to make because you have to shred the potatoes and you have to cook it. And it takes a while to cook potatoes. Raw potato just tastes awful. So I'm thinking this is going to change the way we eat hash browns forever. I believe in it. It's kind of fluffy. Look at this. Like, it's a good consistency. I think this is perfect. I don't know how much I added. I would say maybe a third of a package for one egg, which seems like a lot. Actually, now looking back, I'm thinking, was this the right call? You know what? It's too late. I gotta spray this because I know this is going to stick. There's no going back now. So I'm going to add my extremely dense hash brown onto here. So one egg makes like two, I think. Why does it smell so much like butter? I'm gonna close it. As long as it cooks, I'm happy. I'm gonna just let it cook now. This is like, sounds great in your head, and then you start doing it. It's like, I made potato salmonella glue. Like, what is this? It kind of smells like a hash brown, interestingly enough. I've waited almost 10 minutes, so I think this gotta be ready. I don't like the smell of it. It smelled really good when I just could smell the powder. It smells really bad now. It smells like raw eggs. This is my potato egg hash brown. I mean, it actually looks good. I hope it's cooked. It is crispy. Do I like my hash browns crispy? I'm not sure. It kind of tastes like a hash brown, but it's dry. The idea was there, but it needs milk, cream, like it's fluffy in your mouth. The flavor of egg in it is really off-putting because it smells like raw egg and it tastes like really eggy, like omelette-y. Imagine the texture of a dry hash brown and the flavor of an omelet. This is not the kind of hash brown that I like. It does work structurally. Do I think some people would like this? Yeah, I can actually see people enjoying this. I'm not the biggest fan of omelets and just egg stuff, especially when it has this crazy eggy flavors. For me, I'm gonna say no. I don't even think I could adjust this any differently. What I don't like is the egg, and the egg needs to bind the whole thing together. I was thinking about specifically breakfast food and how we could improve it. So this is my take on trying to improve French toast. So usually French toast is done by soaking bread in milks and egg and sugar. What contains eggs, milk, sugar, cream, ice cream? I got a butter pecan ice cream and I am going to microwave this until it's liquid and then soak my bread in it because this naturally contains all those things. Look at this. First ingredient, milk. Second ingredient, cream. Butter pecan is like my favorite flavor on pancakes, so I think this might make it really good. And it's got pieces of walnut, so I have no idea how much this is going to soak into the bread. If I get too excited, stuff doesn't work, so I have to keep my mind pretending not to care. Pretending that I'm not invested in the final result. I'm going to microwave this. I'm hoping that bread kind of soaks up ice cream, but how would I know? No one's ever attempted to do this. It looks creamier than any French toast I've had before. It does soak up the stuff. I mean, this is crazy. This is bread soaked in ice cream. And I'm gonna do the same for the other one. And there are pieces of walnuts in here that actually would be kind of nice toasted. The bread absorbs ice cream pretty quickly. I'm gonna try to soak some of the walnuts in there. I'm gonna press them into the bread so you can see the pecan pieces on the French toast. It sounds like French toast. And the best thing is, this is edible. Like, there's no raw egg in it. You can just eat it. Oh my god, it's so soft. I can barely touch it. Oh my god, it looks like French toast though. Oh, the walnuts, that was not the vibe. I think these are ready, so let me unplug this. So I'm going to put this one on the plate. And this one looks the best, so I'm gonna put it on top. This is French toast made with ice cream. Literally 2 ingredients, bread and ice cream. The pecan nuts from the ice cream kind of toast up and it smells like toasted nuts. Way softer than regular French toast. I like the texture of it. It's very sticky. This goes fully into dessert territory. Look at this. It's super fluffy and sticky. I've done it. I've improved French toast. There's an eggy flavor to it, like in a good way. It's very vanilla, caramelly, pecan. It's so much better than regular French toast. There is no comparison. Like, I'm being so for real. It's also way more dessert-like, so you have to like sweet stuff. You could even make this with a low-calorie ice cream, for example. Look at the texture of the bread as it pulls apart. It's so soft, but it's not squishy. I'm gonna be so mad if someone has come up with this before me, because I really believe this came from my own brain. I had this leftover pasta in the fridge. I'm not sure what the name of this pasta shape is, but you know the twisty kind? I was looking at this and it made me think of the Taco Bell cinnamon twists. So I was like, could I transform this into a Taco Bell cinnamon twist? Is there a way? I don't want to deep fry this because I don't like deep frying stuff. That's too crazy for me. Like, I'm trying to live a decent amount of time, but also a good time. Deep frying is not the way. So I'm doing this amount of pasta because I want it all to lie in a flat kind of shape. Otherwise, it's not going to cook at the same time. I am going to add some melted butter. How much? I'm not sure. Ooh, this is really hot. This much melted butter. I don't know if this is gonna work. So I'm gonna coat this in the melted butter. I would already eat it the way it is. Wait, this smells good now. I think I would eat it like this already. Should we stop here? Maybe I could do a little bit more pasta. You know what? I'm getting hopeful. After covering anything in melted butter, I'm like, wait a second. I wasn't feeling that bad. My personality is coming back. We're going to mix this. I'm going to put this in the oven for literally 5 minutes. I don't want this to go overly crunchy because I know that will not be enjoyable. I just want to add a little something to it. Like, it will still be kind of soft. So oven, 5 to 10 minutes at most. This looks so good. It's like glossy and the texture is kind of interesting. It's not crispy, but it's not soft. It's like a stiff pasta. Like, I can't explain, but I think there's a possibility that this will taste really good. I'm gonna add the cinnamon, a lot of it, and we're gonna add the sugar because my fear is that this is going to read as savory. I want this to read as sweet. And we're basically going to toss this until it looks like the Taco Bell churros. I would eat this as it is. I think it looks good. I think you could have a little bit more cinnamon, which is crazy, but I think it could. So I guess if we wanted, we could put it into a different bowl. And that is it. I have no idea what it's going to taste like. It's slightly different than what I was imagining. It's more soft. Oh my god, I made sweet pasta. And it's amazing. This is really good. I wish the sugar stayed more crunchy, so I think it actually needs a little bit more sugar after it's cooled down. But it basically tastes like sweet pasta. I've never thought about making sweet pasta, but I love it. The butter just melts in your mouth. It's incredible. It's not exactly what I thought it would be, but it might be better. There's something about this being soft that makes it so addictive. Like, you want to go for like a bunch of them at the same time, you know? If you have leftover pasta, I feel confident telling you to try this. It's good, but do you really need this in your life? I don't know. I don't want to be responsible for eating a stick of butter with pasta and sugar into it. That is scary. I'm not sure if this is a thing, but I came up with this when I was maybe 6 or 7 years old, and I've done it my entire childhood, sometimes my adulthood too. When I was little, I watched all the cartoons from the United States. I can't remember which cartoon it was. I remember the characters drank strawberry milk. We did not have strawberry milk, or even concept of strawberry milk did not exist. One day I had the brilliant idea of making strawberry milk using jam. I'm not sure if this is going to work out, but it did work out when I was little because I had it multiple times. You want to add 50% jam and 50% milk and then put it in the microwave. This creates like a, I don't want to say a base, but it creates like a good foundation so that it's not lumpy, you know, so that it mixes well. I used to do this with my mom's homemade jam, so I don't know if this is going to work with Smuckers. 50% milk, 50% jam, which is around that much. You don't have to mix it too well here. And then you put this in the microwave. And if it works the way I remember this working, it will mix. Okay, so this was 30 seconds in the microwave. Let's see what it's doing. It's a little bit lumpier than I remember. So let's do another 30 seconds in the microwave. Oh, it spilled over. What is going on? This is not what I remember. I'm gonna do the jam. See, the jam is not supposed to separate. Let's do a little bit of milk and see if this maybe gets better. I'm not sure about this. This is not what I remember it looking like. Okay, that tastes really good actually. That tastes like candy. What is in this stuff? So if you try this with your mom's homemade strawberry jam, my mom just uses sugar and strawberry. Don't use this. This still tastes incredible, just lumpier. You know what? You're coming home with me. And by home I mean to bed when I finish filming this video. This is the Nestle Toll House cookie dough, and I put this in the freezer yesterday thinking that I'm going to be able to cut into it today. We'll see. I want to cut some slices of this, and I'm going to cut it with the plastic and everything because I wanted to keep its integrity. This is really important. Some of them better than others, but it'll be fine in the end. And cutting it with the plastic really helps. This is going somewhere, I promise you. Like, you gotta trust me at this point. I'm going to grab a frozen slice of cookie dough. I am going to dip it in pancake batter, coat it fully in pancake batter, and then I'm gonna cook it. And I'm gonna do this to all of them. And if this works, this is going to result cookie dough stuffed pancake. Please tell me you see the vision. So far, so good. No structural problems. They're flattening down a little bit, but expected. These smell incredible and they look pretty ready, so I'm going to flip them. Is now melted cookie dough. Wait, I've came up with something. Every single one of them works. I did something. Oh my god, they look incredible! I believe the cookie dough is starting to cook, so I'm going to get them out before it stops being cookie dough. Okay. And here we've got our stuffed pancakes, which hopefully they are stuffed. I am as invested as you are. Is it gonna be cookie dough in the center? In this one, you can really see the layers. Pretty incredible. The fact that it worked the way I thought. Let's give it a try. That is weird. Kind of tastes like salted caramel chocolate chip cookie dough. I would never do this again because it's so much work to freeze it, slice it. If you've got children would lose their mind at this. Or anyone who loves like sweet stuff, dessert people would lose their minds at this. I'm not gonna lie, this idea came to me in a severe episode of sleep deprivation after I was editing a 1-hour video. I wonder what would happen if we melt some chocolate frosting and dip some frozen fruit into it and then put it back in the freezer for like an hour. There's something in here, you know? This is crazy. I've never had this one. This one is crazy. Betty Crocker never fails. Rarely. I always keep these frozen fruits at home. Sometimes I eat them like that. I put them in smoothies as well, or strawberries as well. So here we've got the frosting. It's not melted, but you get the idea. Let me get a good grip on it. Imagine if I drop this and into the melted Betty Crocker. It's smoking. Oh my god, that works perfectly. This just works. It really sticks to the fruit. Not too much mess either. Strawberry, and that's it. They kind of become little blobs of chocolate. I'm interested what's going to happen because this is not going to solidify the way chocolate does. What is going to happen to frosting when it's frozen? No idea. I'm not going to do more because I don't want to be wasteful in case this doesn't really become anything. Here's our fruit that has been covered in frosting. Here we've got a case of my Delulu. It doesn't solidify because it's butter. If you put oil in the freezer, it probably doesn't solidify. So these actually, it's the texture of like caramel. You know, imagine like a solid caramel. That's the texture of this. Does not look appetizing. The fruit is frozen. I'm sure this will taste great. It's good if you want to just dip this into melted frosting and eat it like that, like a fondue kind of situation. Don't expect these to become solid. It is what it is. The fruit is too frozen, I can't even bite into it. And the outside is melting. It doesn't even go together. One of my favorite desserts is cheesecake, and a lot of the times I wish I could have cheesecake casually. If you want cheesecake, you either go to a cheesecake factory and buy one, which is very expensive. If you want cheesecake at home, it takes like 1 to 2 days to make it. I want a bowl. I want an individual portion of cheesecake. So I'm gonna take Philadelphia cream cheese. Obviously, this is what makes cheesecake amazing. This would be the amount that I would eat. Cream cheese, even if you add sugar, it still doesn't have that cheesecake kick. Jell-O makes a cheesecake flavored pudding. The flavor is good, but the consistency in pudding form, it's not cheesecake. This will add the flavor, and that will add the texture of cheesecake. I feel like I'm doing something, but I'm gonna mix it in. Maybe I need to soften my cream cheese a little bit. When you start mixing it with the Jell-O powder, it becomes fluffy and it changes color completely. It really goes the texture of cream cheese. This is gonna be my amount of cheesecake. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna try and flatten it as much as I can. This is kind of like cheesecake if cheesecake was made on an easy bake oven. I swear, perfect analogy. Now what I'm not gonna do is eat Greek yogurt and you're gonna call it cheesecake. That's not cheesecake. Once you get the hang of it, you can really smooth it out. Actual solid cheesecake, look at this. And then what I'm gonna do to really give it the cheesecake flavor is I'm gonna add some graham crackers. Now you can add melted butter, but I'm just gonna use butter spray. And I'm going to press this so it's like inside out, you know, the crust is on top. So if our instant cheesecake worked, when we cut into it, it should be solid. That's a solid piece of cheesecake. You can literally see the piece where you got the cheesecake from. Hopefully this will have the texture of a real cheesecake. It's maybe slightly more liquid. I would never know. I would honestly not know. A Cheesecake Factory cheesecake remains superior, but this is great if you want to do a low effort, if you're just craving cheesecake on a Friday night and you have some cream cheese at home. For me, you can't get much better than this. I hope you enjoyed this video. This was a lot of fun. This is something you can't see anywhere else, so I wanted to try and give you something different. If you enjoyed it and you like the space up here, don't forget to give the video a like, subscribe, and switch the notifications on only if you enjoyed the video. If you didn't enjoy it, no pressure. Go have a nice day. Grab a snack. I don't know what time it is. Go to bed. I would love to make more of these, so when you engage with the video, when you give it a like, comment, it lets me know that you want more of this. Hopefully I'll see you again. I love you, and I will see you guys on my next video. Bye bye.